To everybody who's been liking the videos so far, we thank y'all. You guys liking the videos has kind of helped us start to grow the channel even more, so we appreciate it. To those who have not, please, we ask you, hit the like button before you even watch this video. It helps us grow the channel, helps people learn about us, and allows us to make more great content like this. So that's all we got. Thank you for helping us grow this channel. Hit the like button right now, and on with the show. Super duty tough work.
Building.
As per usual. We've been dropping classics lately.
Jewels.
What can we say?
Hey.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Hey. He's on fire.
Right. We got the big head right now. NBA Jam big head.
Yeah.
On fire. And we're gonna thank all the listeners, and the great feedback we've been getting the last few weeks. The DiBiase episode, doing great. Last week's episode about people you should not follow on social media. People love the episode. I think it's our best episode of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic. It's hilarious too. It's so funny. So funny. It's like, and we wasn't even trying. It was just, it's just so funny. It's good. It's really good. Yeah. Really good.
So I want to thank y'all, man. As this things start to open up, I'm starting to look back at the analytics. People are going back to work now.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means they're listening to us during their commute more,
Yes.
As our numbers start to get back to where they were, a year and a half ago. I want to thank everybody. It means a lot. People who are buying the books, supporting the podcast with the comments on YouTube, on SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram. We appreciate y'all. And we just going to keep doing this thing. And so This week, we're going to talk about something that was inspired by a tweet I made yesterday. And the tweet, I'm going to read this tweet. So for those of you who don't follow me on the social medias, can know what this is about. And the tweet said this. It said, artists, working a full-time job does not make your art less valuable. Dope art is dope art, whether you do it full-time or in your spare time. This tweet has been running up numbers, and started some conversations that are very important about like working and pursuing your art. There's a lot of misconceptions out there. And a lot of artists do inherently feel that their jobs are hurting their value, are hurting their chances of success. And there's a lot of realities that come with that, because on this show, we're not one of those, don't go to sleep shows. We're like, get them 8 hours, Playboy.
Right. Lay your ass down.
Sleep is good.
Yeah.
We fuck with the snooze god heavy.
Nah, I mean,
you know what I mean? He's a friend of the show, the snooze god. He's been good to us. And so, but we do want to be practical. And I think this is a good time to have a conversation about the truth about pursuing your art and working a full-time job. Because there are some realities that some people are not speaking on. There's some things that we want to say just to clear the air, to kind of give you all some perspective, because we know that the people who do it full time are a small percentage.
Yes.
And we want to know, and we know that there are people out there who are not being real about everything that goes on. As someone myself who has done it for 20 years straight. Illogic has done it for several years straight. He's working now, but he still pursues his art. You can't tell the difference, right? By how hard this man's been going. We want to give you the conversation from both sides. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about a number of, bullet points, thoughts and considerations for you as you work your job and pursue your craft. And we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
We got you stuck off the realness, the most infamous, you heard of us. Official podcast murderers, the show comes equipped with viewpoints to share. Grown man ideas for all those who care and want to grow, so go ahead and download. every single week with a brand new episode. You're not alone in this world, cousin. So we share information and honest discussion and keep repping a culture like we supposed to. They spread gossip, but they never come close to. I can hear it inside their tone. They talk about the industry, but never left their home. You get laced up with bullet points and such, plus empowering topics that they never would touch. You can put your whole network against the team, but Super Duty Tough Work's the MVP. Most valuable podcast on MP3. Priceless info, but all of it's free. So take these words home and think them through. Super Duty Tough Work is coming at you. You are now listening to Super Duty Tough Work with your host, Blueprint. Raw and uncut. Adult conversations. No shucking, no jiving, and no bullshit.
All right, folks, we back. Super Duty Tough Work. We talking about the truth about working a full-time job and pursuing art.
Oh, yo, before we get started, it'll be tomorrow when this drops. But
Yes.
it's a full hour of
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We're going live this week.
We going live this week.
Let's announce this. Monday, Illogic goes live. He does his beats and B-sides, 9 p.m. on his YouTube channel.
Yep, deep dive in the time capsule. We going time capsule this week.
And this Monday at 8 o'clock, I will be doing the second artist advice hour. Meaning, I'm going to take your questions for an hour. All of you artists with questions and stuff like that, hit me. Get them ready Monday at 8 p.m. on the Super Duty Tough Work channel.
Yeah, but then flip over to the Illogic channel for the beats and B-sides.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have a caller call in. My guy Zero Star is gonna call in to the artist advice hour. He had this tweet go crazy last week about the Ice-T shit, and it was on Hip Hop DX and all these big sites and just everywhere.
They was talking about it on Sirius XM.
Sirius XM's crazy. So we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna have him call in for a minute on the artist advice hour, and so tune in and mess with us, man. It'll be dope. The first one was really dope. It'll be on live 8 o'clock Monday on the Super Duty Tough Work YouTube channel, and that's it for the announcements.
Word.
So this conversation, man. Let's talk about the truth about working full time and pursuing your art. As we mentioned before, Illogic has done both. Illogic was actually a full time artist before I was. You know, I was working a business and working a job, the label. And, you know, he was the first in our crew to be able to pursue art, go out on the road and tour and pay bills off of this shit, right? I followed shortly thereafter. You know, he's come in and out of having jobs because he's got kids and other stuff, you know, and, I've kept doing it for the last 20 years. But, you know, COVID and all this other stuff has me thinking like, man, maybe it's time for me to get a secondary source of income. But it's a real situation, and we want to talk about this week because there's so much confusion around it. And so we want to talk about some of the realities, and we got certain things we want y'all to take away. The first point we want to make is that it's okay to have a job. Point number one, it's okay to have a job. Say it with me, everybody. It's okay to have a job. Somewhere along the lines, people started feeling ashamed of being artists and having jobs. If we go back and we look at the history of art, only recently have artists been able to make a living off of their art.
Right.
Recent human history. Back in the day, any artist who made money had to basically work for the king. The king would pay him to pay, hey, Michelangelo, go paint that chapel over there. In return, I'll make sure that you got enough money to live off of. Whenever I need a cool painting, you're my guy. If Michelangelo wasn't running around getting money like that, he wasn't getting bags torn. He wasn't licensing his paintings.
Right.
He had to work. He wasn't sitting around doing this shit all day. But somewhere along the lines in modern times, we have allowed certain people to make us believe that working is not as noble as being an artist. or is not as needed as being an artist. And I think it's unfortunate because when we start feeling like that, you start feeling like just because you have a job and you make art, your art is not as valuable because your art is not your primary source of income.
Yeah.
It follows logically that, okay, well, if my art was worth so much, I'd be doing it full time. But don't believe the hype, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't believe the hype, man. Look, here's something I don't even think we ever talked about. The first 3 records that made my entire career pop off were written, recorded when I had a job. The records that I did for Illogic that allowed him to pursue the art, I had a job.
Yeah.
I was working. He would come to the crib after I got off.
Yeah. Right up.
He was in school.
Yeah.
He would come through. Hey, what time you get off, Brent? I should be home around 7. Can you scoop me at 8? Yep.
Yep.
I'd go scoop him up. We drive back to my apartment, listen to beats, work on music till about 11.
Yeah.
Drop him back off. We rinse and repeat.
Yep. Do it all over again.
All over again. 8 Million Stories album, if you go back and listen to that record, the record that really made Soul Position pop, that record is about me working. Just think. Fuck a job.
Yeah.
Come on now. These are the songs that are written while a motherfucker is working and pursuing his art full time.
Yeah.
The Unlimited EP, same thing. 1988 was started as I was quitting. We had already turned in 8 Million Stories. 1988 was done pretty much in 03, 04. By the time we went on a Soul Position tour, in 03, 88 was pretty much done. While I was working, y'all. There are a lot of people who this is the truth for. My point is this. That art that made me pop off was not worthless simply because I made it with a job. It actually ended up being worth the most.
Right. It's crazy how that happens, right?
Yeah. But there's this perception that, oh, just because I'm working and doing this on the side, this shit ain't worth nothing. No, that shit you're doing on the side, when you get off that job, could be the same thing that eventually opens a door or creates an opportunity for you to do it full time. If you go hard and do it the right way.
Yeah, I think the problem is a lot of people have this misconception about what it means to make it, quote unquote. And especially when you do have a full job and and we've had the conversation on why we don't tell people we rap. Sometimes that shit can be discouraging because if you tell your coworkers that you rap,
yes.
Oh, you just, oh, so why you working here?
Yeah, what you doing here?
What you doing here? If you, oh, you got a show this week? Oh, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
See you on Monday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and if you have the wrong expectations of what it means to be an artist and what it means to have a successful career, then that shit can be discouraging. And that can put you in a mindset where, you start thinking like, yeah, if my shit was so John Blaze, why am I working here? You know what I'm saying? But one of the illest artists that we know, Superstition,
yes,
dude has had a job for the last,
6 years?
5, 6 years?
The week he got back from the King No Crown tour with me, he went back to work.
Yeah. And been there ever since.
Yep.
And in the process of that has put out some of his best music.
Yes.
Since he been back.
Yeah. If you ask me, the favorites in his catalog, if I remember correctly, like the Honest Living EP and the one he put out last year, those are like 2 of his dopest records. He was working.
Yep. He was working. Real, like working.
Yes, career.
Career working.
Not just some grunt work, a career.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate that people feel that way. And it's not all their fault. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people who perpetuate this thing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
certain artists who have been blessed with the opportunity to be full-time artists. And sometimes they go out of their way to almost insult people who have jobs.
Yeah.
On this show, I kind of go out of my way to do the opposite.
Right.
I don't insult nobody with no job, because I view myself as being in a small fine group of people who are lucky and blessed enough to have an opportunity to do this full time. And because I know the realities of this shit ain't as sweet as most people think they are.
Yeah. I mean, shit, my last, 4, 5 records?
Working.
Been working.
Yes, bro.
I ain't done music full time in probably 10, maybe, you know what I'm saying? 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
You know, everything that I've put out probably since 2009?
Yeah.
2008?
Yeah.
Since like after Celestial, I got a job.
Yeah.
I went back to school. And then all the records since then, I've had a job.
Yeah. And
you know, all of them.
And you going as hard as ever right now.
Right.
You know? And it's okay. Like anybody telling you that it's not okay, be very skeptical of them. Because and we're going to talk about some of the reasons why it's okay in this episode, you know what I mean? But I really want people to have a reference for when you guys are feeling like this ain't it, or this is fucked up, or my art ain't worth nothing because I got a job. That's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? And this is coming from a man who has literally not had a job or resume in 20 years.
Yeah.
Made one resume when I graduated college, worked 5 years, then did this for another 20 fucking 5.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not telling you or shaming you for having a job, nobody else got the right to.
Yeah.
You know? So that's number one. It's okay. Number 2 thing we want to talk about is that time is what you make of it. This is in reference to the perception that a lot of artists have that being a full-time artist and having all day to work on your art automatically means that you're going to be more productive. You're automatically going to get more stuff done, and that that's the only thing that's missing.
Mm.
There's a perception that, you know, time is what determines your success.
Big lies. Big lies. Because having a job actually makes you a little more cognizant of your time.
Thank you.
Because you know that, shit, I got to be at work from 8 to 5. I got to get up in the morning at 7.
Yes.
So I got this, 3-hour, 4-hour window where I can create. Let me do as much as I possibly can in that window. When you have all day, you dick around. You wake up at noon.
Mm-hmm.
You go get some coffee, eat some lunch.
Yep.
You don't get in the studio till 3. You know what I mean? 3, 4 o'clock. You wasted time.
Yep.
Especially if you want, like, having a job gives you that discipline and teaches you a lot of lessons that help you when you do get the opportunity.
Yeah.
To work on it full time. Then you're a better steward of your time.
Facts. And I'm going to go on the record and say this. I don't think everybody is cut out for the freedom that comes along with being a full-time artist.
Nope.
Some people need to actually have structure in place because they don't value time enough. And like, even for me, what has allowed me to keep this thing going is not just that I'm talented. When I was in corporate America, what was I doing? I was a project manager. I was a senior systems analyst. I had learned from corporate how to structure my day, how to prioritize things, the things you learn over there. And what did that mean? That meant I had a completely different perception of time when I got into this shit.
Right.
So I was on it. I do a lot of stuff, a lot of different things. People say, well, how do you write 2 books in a year? Well, I learned the discipline from doing all those other things, and I apply that to this. Everybody's not cut out for that. I'm going to tell you, this shit is not just sitting around writing rhymes, smoking blunts all day. It's not. If you think that's what it is, you're going to fail.
Yeah, it's not for you.
It's not for you. If you think that simply becoming a full-time artist means you have to work less and you have to do less and you only get to do art all day, chances are you don't make no money off your art. Being a full-time artist means that you're actually making money off this shit.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't just sitting around creating shit, not releasing it, not making money, living off of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't making no money off this shit. You're not a full-time artist. Anyway, don't get it fucked up. And I hate to sound like that, but people need to be told this shit because they get it fucked up.
Yeah. They have this perception that it's all fun.
Oh.
It's all fun. Like I put a tweet up a couple weeks ago that working for yourself is, it's a great feeling, but it's also twice as much work.
Come on.
When you work for somebody else, you get an assignment.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You clock in, clock out, and that's your day.
Yes.
When you work for yourself, you work until the shit is done.
Yes. I'm up till
You
3 a.m. every night.
Yes.
Are y'all ready for that?
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Yeah. And you're not getting paid by the hour.
No. I don't get paid for 90% of the shit I do every day.
Come on, bro. All this content that we creating, we ain't punching a clock.
Nah, nobody paying me for that.
Shit, if anything, we might be spending money.
Straight up. L's. Losses. Losses. Yeah, man. So like time is something different, man. Like you got to really, really think about this. And there was a response to my tweet where one guy was talking about, he just wanted the freedom of, being able to listen to records all day and work on his voice. And I have to say that being a full-time artist could not be any more opposite than that. That's not what this is about. When you become a full-time artist, your job is to be an artist.
Yes.
Just think about that. It's to be an artist and it's to make money off your art. If you haven't figured out the making money part yet, you're not a full-time artist.
I think the thing that helped you out too is that you were cognizant enough to understand that this same mindset that I put into this working for someone else shit, and being a project manager over here, I have to think the same way about my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look at this as a job.
Yes.
As opposed to, I just get the fuck around in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Like you actually took the mindset to, okay, I put in 8 hours over here for them.
Yep.
Let me put in 10 over here for me.
Yep.
And have the same discipline, the same. And I'm sure it took you some time to really get there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, like having that mindset and being able to translate that into your art, that's where the victory is.
Yes.
That's where the understanding time and how to use it and not just wasting it just because, I would love to just make beats all day and listen to records, but I can't do that. I got to I'm running my own shit. So I got to create my own content. I got to edit my own videos. I got to, do this and do that. Like the not fun shit has to be done.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And granted, I do have regular employment, but I still look at this as my second job.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I do. And I'm treating it as such. And it took me a while to even get there.
Yeah.
To even look at this in that way and put that same dedication into it. I mean, what else you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? If it's a hobby, it's a hobby.
And just leave
but
it
make
at
sure that's if it's a hobby, it's a hobby. Make sure you leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're looking at this as a means to supplement income, even, like with what I made last year off of music, it's a hell of a second job. But it is a second job though.
Ding, ding, ding.
You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
It's not, I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? I know this ain't my primary source right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a hell of a second job though.
Yeah, it's a job. No, that's real as shit, man. Yeah, I agree. And this kind of takes us into the third point we want to make, which is that jobs teach you transferable skills.
Yes.
A lot of people are looking at their jobs as though the job is a big waste of time. But many people, if you look at a lot of the most successful people, many of them start and they have their success in industries where they had a minor role as a job early in their lives. You know, like they may have worked at a printing shop and then they ended up going into the printing business later on, or maybe they worked in a call center for IT and then they ended up being a programmer later on. You know, the point here is that jobs actually in paying you to do something for them, they are also teaching you something that you can use for yourself.
Yes.
Many of us miss that because we're not passionate about the work. And we're not thinking about what it truly means to be a professional artist. Being a professional artist means that you're going to be leaning on many of the same skills that you're using for somebody else. You know, it doesn't mean that like they're two separate things. The only difference is that the product is creative. Product is your art. But the same skills, the same etiquette you use, that maybe you were answering phones, maybe you were doing customer service, that ain't no different than what we do when we answer emails and somebody's package get lost.
Yeah.
You think we don't deal with upset customers when the vinyl get lost or bent up or the post up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or we forget somebody's order and it's been weeks.
Yeah.
And we got to make it right and give them a refund and send, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you thinking that, oh, I ain't gonna have to do that when I'm a full-time artist. Shit.
Do it more. More money, more customer service,
yeah,
man.
more customers, more customer service. You know? Like, what you think we doing at the merch table?
Come on.
We're dealing with customers. Like, you think that, oh, when I become an artist, I ain't gotta do that. You sadly mistaken, bruh. You sadly mistaken.
You do it more.
Yes.
You have to go. And the thing is, because I was always quiet dude, you know, in a corner somewhere by myself. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really fuck with people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until I got out on tour and I realized, shit, if I don't talk to nobody, I ain't gonna sell no merch. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm only gonna make this $100 or $150 that I'm getting paid for the show.
Yeah.
When, you know, it's $300-$400 if I sit at the merch table and interact with my people. So I had to grow and get out of that shit and really learn. Because the thing is, I started out in customer service. So I talk to people all the time on the phone for a living. It was just the interpersonal face-to-face shit that I was like, I ain't fucking with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I had to, in order to, you know, be somewhat successful while I was out on tour and actually, you know, be able to take care of my family while I'm out there.
Yeah, man.
You know?
It's like, so my advice to everyone who has a job, and you know, and you might think, what does that got to do with me? Look at your job as an opportunity for you to take something. Like they're giving you free training at something, maybe multiple things, but you have to see it so that you understand that working for myself is not the absence of these things.
Right.
It's actually because I've done this, it becomes easier. Right? Don't look at it like there's nothing to get out of this except a paycheck. I don't care what kind of job you got. There's something else to get out of that motherfucker besides the paycheck. And there's something that will aid you when you get the opportunity to work for yourself. So yeah, that's number 3. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. My brand new book, The Social Media Cheat Code, is now pre-ordering on waitlist.net. Order your signed copy today. Thanks for your support. Quick announcement. Over the last several years, we've been asked many times by the listeners of the show if we would ever open it up to the public for advertising. We've always been interested in this, but we never had the systems in place to make it work properly. I'm proud to announce that we are officially accepting advertising from the public on Super Duty Tough Work. Meaning, if you're a small business owner or an artist and you'd like to create more awareness about your product, service, or release on the Super Duty Tough Work podcast, we're now in a position to do that. For more information, email us at superdutytoughwork@waitlist.net. Again, that's superdutytoughwork@waitlist.net. Email us there. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you would like to promote, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible to let you know if we think it's a good fit and what the next steps are. Thank you for your time. Back to the show. All right, folks, we're back. Blueprint, Illogic, Super Duty Tough Work, the most infamous podcast on planet Earth, giving y'all the real about working full-time, pursuing the craft. Okay, we're on number 4. Number 4 point we want you guys to consider is that you should be stacking and planning. I don't want to hear no conversations about this job, if you not stacking and planning. First of all, you ain't gonna transition out of no job if you ain't got no money saved up.
Come on.
Can we talk about that? What does your savings look like? There's a reason you need that job, my man.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you ain't got no bread. And if you had the money and you had the job, making a transition into being a full-time artist would be way easier.
Yeah.
People are just, what they want to do, this is what they want to do. They want to quit the job with no money and then think that because I got time to make music all day, I'll make it pop. That's not how this game works.
Not at all.
If it's going to pop, it's probably going to pop while you got a job.
And it's probably going to pop while you got money.
Yes.
Because you need money in order to make the shit pop.
Thank you.
Shit don't just fall out of nowhere.
Thank you.
Even if it's $35 for a fucking VST or, you know, like some software or shit. Like, you need money in order to get shit popping.
Yeah.
You know, like most of the equipment that I have, you know, like my cameras and shit, a lot of that shit secondhand. But I still needed to buy that shit.
Yep.
You know, I ain't spend top dollar for everything.
But you had to get it and you got it.
Yeah, had to do it. But I couldn't have did that if I didn't have income.
Yes.
Had to have income
this
to invest in the shit.
Yeah. People don't understand, like, jobs give you an opportunity to make money for the financially disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
A job of steady paycheck is an opportunity to build, like you were saying the last point, your second job, your side business. Whatever it is that you're not doing full time, if you're doing it the right way, you should be able to stack money from your job and even from your side business.
Facts.
Right? You should be saving money. That's the first thing. The second thing you should be doing, you should be planning. I don't want to hear this, if I were just a full-time artist, then I could plan out some shit. I could take over the world if I just had more. No, you're not planning shit as it is. Mm-hmm. You think you got to be sitting at home 24 hours a day to plan a release schedule for a year.
And then when you get that time, you still don't plan shit.
No.
You don't plan a damn thing.
Because now you got too much freedom.
Now you got too much time.
And no money to execute.
Come on.
I say this, and I hate to come off crass. I'm not trying to kill nobody's dream right here. I'm trying to inject some reality into people so you know what you need to do. You should be able to listen to this episode and be like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to stack. I'm going to plan. You know what I mean? I'm going to do this. I'm going to be taking these skills from these places. This is really just a blueprint to how you make your transition.
Mm-hmm.
If you hear it right. Some of you going to hear it right and be like, oh man, he didn't gas me up and tell me I could just walk out the house and do it tomorrow and just all dreams come true. No, you got to work.
Yeah.
You got to plan and you got to stack. You know, look at just like how wars are executed. You know, you read any book about wars and what's one of the most important things in an ongoing war? Supply lines.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have these two opposing forces, right? And what they typically will do is obviously you have the head-on conflict in war. But for those people on the front line, they have a whole network of people bringing them rations of food, bringing them weapons, supplies, information. What happens when you cut off that supply line? You cut off those routes. They lose the war automatically. So many wars have been lost because the supply line chain has been disrupted or destroyed. They have to go back home. They talk about the wars in Afghanistan and why Afghanistan never lost a war. That's why. It's too much ground to cover for the supply chains. How does that apply to you? Your money and your plan is your supply chain for your war.
Mm-hmm.
If your goal is to win and to become an artist, then you are on the attack. But if your ass don't got no fucking backup money coming to keep you in that war, you run out of ammo, you run out of food, you run out of supplies and information, you're done.
Yeah.
Stack and plan. I don't know what to tell y'all. But yeah, and those of you who are doing it, I commend you because I see this shit all the time. Like shout out to we got many listeners who have jobs and drop records all over the place.
Right.
Shit.
And do it big.
Yeah. I mean, shit, we talking about Suba, Curly Castro, shout out to Zilla Rocca, like Alaska, all of our guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dropping good records, some of the best records of their career.
Yes. Dropping.
Yes.
These guys have jobs and they're getting deals on other labels.
Right.
We know guys, what does that tell you? We know guys with full-time jobs who are still getting record deals offers from other labels. They're doing it right. They're planning, they're putting money into their releases, and they're doing it properly. It's not just about sitting around 24 hours a day doing art. So that's number 4. Number 5 thing, and this is one that ain't going to be very popular, but we're going to say it anyway, is that you need to be living below your means. Not at your means, not above your means, below your means.
That's just fiscally responsible. Like there's a saying that if you can't buy something twice, then you can't afford it.
Hello.
You know what I mean? Like you can't buy something more than once. If you can just, I can buy, I got $500 in my pocket. I can get this controller. I can get this whatever. But do you have $1,500 in your pocket?
Yeah, to where you don't even
to where you could. Yeah, to where you don't feel that 500 gone as much.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. I get it.
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, see what people think they're going to do. And they think that they can have a lifestyle. Because, look, no matter what kind of job you do, working affords you a certain lifestyle, a certain level of, of living. You have that, right? Because you have a job. You know you're going to get paid every week or a month or whatever your salary is. So you start to live a certain kind of way. What many people think that they're going to do is that they're going to switch over to art and nothing's going to change. It's not the same. And what happens
everything changes. Bro.
It changes. And this is not and I'll say this is for everyone out there. The reason that I've made it this long is because I understand times of abundance and I understand lean times. Mm-hmm. You're going to have both at this. You're going to have times of abundance and you're going to have times where shit is lean. You got to be able to have a standard of living that allows you to make it through both without doing nothing crazy. So when things get lean, shit needs to stay steady for you. When shit get abundant, shit need to stay steady for you.
Mm-hmm.
But what people think is they come in, they do their first whatever tour, they get that first album advance, they make some money. They think it's going to always be like that. What happens? You take a year off, have a kid, something happened, your girlfriend or your wife want a new crib.
Next record don't sell.
Oh, yeah, forgot all about that.
Come on now.
Your joint go wood.
Come on, that's the worst. Especially when you invest in your own money.
Yeah,
That's a different conversation.
Yeah, some shit you thought was going to pop, don't pop.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't getting your bread back as fast. Oh. When in those moments, you be thinking, whew, I'm glad I didn't commit too much money out there.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't live above my means. Man, because that didn't do well, but I'll come back on the next one. I'm keeping it steady. You have to, as an artist, you have to at least understand how to live below your means, because at the end of the day, this is not as predictable as a normal job is.
It's volatile as hell, dude.
Yeah. Because
It's
art
straight
is subjective.
volatile. Yeah. It's volatile as I don't know what. It's like the stock market.
Yep.
It's like playing a fucking stock. Like you buying all these shares. Basically, your album is you buying all these shares.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a new company because
Yeah.
it's a new record.
Yep.
So you buying all these shares in this new company, and you don't know if the company is going to be successful. You don't know if the company is going to fucking, nobody's going to support the company.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So it's more volatile than the stock market. At least stock market, you got projections and shit.
Yeah.
Like you can try
Quarterly
to do all that
reports.
shit. Yeah, all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like buying